Yoichi Isagi is the main character of the Blue Lock series, who boasts his strength through the use of his vision and incredibly quick information processing. And following the events of the most recent chapter, the name Goatsagi has been trending all throughout the Blue Lock community. However, another nickname I've been seeing people call him is Plotsagi, a nickname that I would consider to be on the opposite side of the spectrum when it comes to Yoichi Isagi. But when addressing both nicknames, which of them is more accurate in relation to his current abilities? Does Isagi really deserve all of the positive support, or is everything being stated just unfounded glaze? Well, in today's video, I'll be going through some of the most recent feats of Yoichi Isagi and explaining where my opinions lie when it comes to him in his current performance. Now, like always, I would suggest you click off this video now if you wish to not be spoiled for the latest events of chapter 284. However, if you are cool with it, let's get into the video. Now, the most recent support of Isagi has come from the events from chapter 282 to chapter 284, where Isagi's newest evolution, along with a defensive tag team play with Kaiser, allowed Ferdinand Super Goal to be stopped. Not only that, but throughout this most recent NEL game, Isagi has been going crazy in relation to his performances. In this game alone, it's hard to argue that he hasn't been performing the best out of any game that he's played recently. From his debut of his new weapon, the twin gun volley, to being considered on the level of Michael Kaiser, the new generation 11 striker, Isagi's performance in this game has been astounding. And if you watch my Why Isagi is Going to Win the NEL video, you would understand why I believe that Isagi is going to be crowned as the new Egoist League champion, so long as certain conditions are met. But this isn't about that video. This is about Isagi himself and why he's been receiving such overwhelming support and so much outstanding hate. Looking at the actual breakdown of the events, let me go through the previous two chapters to explain why Isagi is getting this much support. After understanding the breakdown of ego, as well as the truth behind geniuses and talented learners, Isagi analyzes Kaiser in hopes of finding his solution to victory. He realized that Kaiser had abandoned his fixations of defeating Isagi with the sole purpose of winning overall and maintaining what he currently has. And this goes into another whole breakdown of Kaiser's mentality and his desires as a player, which I would love to make my own separate video on, because oh my god, is Kaiser such a well-written character. Which, by the way, if you are interested in seeing a video like that, go check out Raven Geeks' Kaiser breakdown video. It's such a really good breakdown of Kaiser and his character, and I totally recommend checking it out. After understanding Kaiser's mentality, Isagi chooses to do the same, abandoning his fixations such as his rivalry with Rin and his hatred of Kaiser. This allowed Isagi to enter his true state of flow, which put him into a perfect position to challenge Rin, who is also in his true flow state. Isagi and Rin begin to face off against each other, with Rin eventually beating Isagi in the 1v1. However, after shooting, Kaiser comes in to stop Rin's shot from going into the goal. Now that is the gist of what happened and what has led a ton of fans to being split on their perception of Isagi in the current story. But where exactly do I stand on this issue? Do I think that Isagi deserves the love, or do I think that it's unfounded? Before getting into that though, if you are enjoying this video so far, leave a like and subscribe down below to show your support and to see more awesome Blue Lock content just like this. And if you would like to join my Discord server, that being the new Egoist Geeks, you can do so by clicking the link down below. Well, truthfully, my perception of Isagi can't really put me on either side of the spectrum. I'm not one of the people who think that Isagi is God, nor do I think that he is a plot merchant. To start, I'll be addressing some of the negative accusations that have befallen Isagi, and then I'll address the positive ones. Sound good? Awesome. One of the main accusations I hear towards Isagi is the actual nickname of Plotsagi. And for those who don't fully understand what that means, many fans are saying that Isagi is simply coasting by the coattails of the mangaka's favoritism as the main character, making Isagi win in these unfavorable situations simply because he is the main character. Which, to a degree, I do kind of see your point. To have a main character win simply because they are the main character, despite being given every instance and reason as to why they should lose, is frankly annoying. But I'm sorry, that's not the kind of main character that Isagi is. Throughout the series, Isagi has never truly won an individual encounter. In every selection event or major arc, Isagi isn't even considered to be the most dangerous threat on the pitch, being surrounded by players like Bachara, Nagi, Rin, Burū, and Kaiser in particular. His style is all about adaptation and becoming a new version of himself through evolving, which is one of the core values of the Blue Lock project. You're trying to argue that he is a plot merchant because he is the main character of a series who follows the values and ideas of that series? Do you not realize how stupid that sounds? Are you really going to be interested in a main character or a story where the main character never changes, stays the exact same, never gets better, and always loses? Of course you're not. As a reader, you want to see the characters progress and develop. And it just so happens that Isagi fits that exact style of person, just in a more rapid succession and rate. And is it really outrageous to call a player who adapts to situations very quickly unrealistic? I mean, when your sidecast consists of a guy who can pluck the ball out of the air with ease, or a guy who can shoot a shot so fast it bypasses 6 players players in less than a single second? Is it weird to say that one character can just adjust to those players very quickly? I wouldn't say it is. Another issue I see people having comes from the statement that Isagi appearing in front of Ring in chapter 282 makes no sense and that he simply teleported. Well, I'm here to explain why he didn't teleport, and if you actually paid attention to the story, you would realize how Isagi had ended up there and why it makes sense given his newest evolution. Looking at chapter 282, we see Loki has stolen possession of the ball from Noah and is rushing down the field with there being 59 seconds left in the star change system. And at the start of chapter 283, we see that there are 10 seconds left on the star change system, meaning the entire length of chapter 282 was simply 49 seconds, at least in relation to in-series time. Please keep in mind that despite how much Isagi does talk and despite how slow the anime makes Isagi look, that time still flows and Isagi is still moving while he is internally monologuing. We see in chapter 281 that Loki stole the ball from Noah, however we see in that chapter that Loki blitzes Isagi to do that, putting Noah and Loki at a significant distance ahead of him. And we see from this double spread of chapter 281 that Kaiser and him are just above the halfway mark on the field, specifically towards PXG's side, meaning Loki and Noah, as of the ball being stolen and there being 59 seconds on the star change system, are likely just outside of the goalie box on PXG's side. Going back into chapter 282, we see that while Isagi is monologuing, Noah catches up to Loki and they start to have their 1v1. And we also see that Loki is only at about the end of the circle on Bastard's side when Noah catches up to him. Assuming that was the case given Loki's insane speed, we could assume that Loki took maybe 5 seconds to get to that point. Given this, we can assume that Loki and Noah were having their matchup for around 20 to 30 seconds. And after Loki passes to Rin, we can assume that it took Rin about 10 seconds to move around Igaguri as well as push through the defenders. So in conclusion, that would mean that Isagi would have an estimated 25 to 35 seconds to run from the halfway mark to just outside of the goal box, because again, we saw Isagi and Kaiser at the halfway mark in chapter 281. Now I don't know about you, but even I could run that distance in 30 seconds, so it's pretty clear that Isagi could too. Not to mention, Isagi's newest evolution being a flow state awakening means that he not only has to be moving to the most dangerous space, as he can view that with omnivision, but he also has to be moving there reflexively, given with how flow state actually works. So he is reflexively and efficiently moving to the most dangerous spot on the pitch, and you are giving him 30 seconds to do so? Of course he's going to be there in time. It's almost as if the people who want to say that Isagi teleported believe that Isagi just stops moving whenever he chooses to monologue. However, you need to consider that time still actually moves, and in turn, so do the players. I really don't understand what is so complicated about Isagi's movements here. He didn't teleport, and if you paid attention to the context clues and the actual positions of the players on the game, you would understand why he showed up where he did. As for why he appears there before Kaiser when Kaiser is inherently in front of him, this could be attributed to Kaiser hesitating, as we see in this panel here, and the fact that Isagi can view the spot on the pitch that Kaiser cannot, and he is also in his true state of flow. All those factors contribute why Isagi appeared when he did, as fast as he did. But now that I've addressed the hate for Isagi, it's time to talk about the unnecessary glaze, because you guys are almost as bad as the Plotsagi guys. First off, why is everyone saying that Isagi solos all of Blue Lock? No, he doesn't. I made a video on TikTok where I slipped in a small comment about Isagi not being as good individually as someone like Chigiri and Burū, and nobody seemed to understand what I meant. And here's that comment.
At this point in the series, Isagi individually is still not on the level of like Chigiri, Burū, Bachira, Rin.
Now, I'm not going to adjust my statement here because I know I'm not wrong. I'm just going to simply explain it. When it comes to individualized abilities and opportunities as a solo player, as well as 1v1 situations, Isagi simply cannot compete with players like Burū and Chigiri. First off, Chigiri's speed and Burū's charging power and chop dribbles make them both incredibly difficult to face in 1v1 situations. Like, if Isagi is placed against them in a 1v1 matchup with no outside interference at all, he is not beating them. Chigiri's speed is far too fast for Isagi to be able to handle, and Burū's chop dribbling and charges are too powerful for Isagi to face directly. And that's simply for if those players have possession. If Isagi has possession of the ball, there's no way he's beating them either. I mean, we saw how insanely effective Chigiri's speed can be when it comes to pressing ball carriers or simply stealing balls, with him making Bachira effectively immobile and him being able to snatch the ball away from Kaiser. And with Burū, if he chooses to challenge Isagi directly, which he most likely will, there's no way that Isagi can maintain possession against his powerful physique. You Isagi Glazers need to understand that Isagi cannot handle himself in 1v1s. Isagi even said it in chapter 284 that he needed Kaiser's help to stop Rin because he knew he couldn't do it alone. And sure, while Isagi did technically beat Rin, he couldn't have beaten him without the assistance of other players, because that is who Isagi is. He isn't a player who is designed or able to win 1v1s alone. If anything, he's fairly poor in that regard. However, he excels in team-based situations, seen with him being able to compete with Kaiser thanks to Corona and Hiyori, despite the drastic gap in individual abilities. egotist. And before you say anything, that is exactly my point. Isagi is poor in 1v1s but excels in team-based situations. So before you want to glaze Isagi and say that he can probably solo other players in 1v1s, you need to consider the fact that Isagi wouldn't beat them in a 1v1 because he only excels in group situations. But that was simply my thoughts on the current writing and depiction of Yoichi Isagi as of the latest chapters. My opinions of Isagi will continue to shift and alter as we continue through the story, so what I say in this video may not align with my current ideals or opinions of the character, so please keep that in mind for the future. Aside from that though, I hope you guys did enjoy this video and will continue to enjoy it in the future. And just a reminder to you guys that we are currently looking for some background artists and animators to assist us on the new Generation 11 fan movie, so if you are interested, please reach out to me through any of the socials listed in my bio or the description. And if you'd like to help donate to the film in order to allow me to pay my team more for their hard work and potentially get more fluid and intense scenes, you can do so by leaving a super chat on this video with the tagline of New Gen 11 movie. Donating will get your name placed in the credits of the film as a contributor to the project. And if you end up donating $25 or more and you are a part of the Discord, you will get access to information before anyone else does, as well as get a special role in our server. We appreciate all of the donations, but please do not feel obligated to do so. All we can ask for is your continued support on the film. Also, for those of you who are worried about copyright, I've reached out to Kodansha and the mangaka for this series, so as long as they approve and greenlight us, we will have absolutely nothing to worry about. As for the question of the video, who are your top 5 favorite characters in Blue Lock? Is Isagi in your top 5? Leave me your thoughts down below in the comments section. And like always, thank you all for watching, like and subscribe to see more awesome Blue Lock content just like this.